I want to go over a little something, and it's pretty obvious. We smashed the Wisconsin Badgers at Camp Randall Stadium, and when we beat them on Saturday, it was the largest lopsided loss in quite a while for Wisconsin. And the last time Wisconsin had that big of a loss was October 11th, 2008, where the Badgers lost 48-7 to Penn State. What's your take on that, man?
We were talking last week, and the key to me was speed. And Alabama just rolled them with speed. I mean, it's just big play after big play, and that, like I heard one of the commentators say this weekend, it's true. Speed kills. I mean, there's no remedy when you have speed, and I was on full display. Now, when there were times when Wisconsin tried to, especially open drive, and I've said I don't put much into opening drives because I know most of them are scripted, and they have their little script. They focus on watch our film, see what we're going to do on defense in these formations. So I know first drives are scripted, and I think teams have been 3 for 3 with regard to us on opening drives. But after that, then everything kind of settles in. That type of scenario, and so kind of same thing, same scenario, but Alabama just big plays and did exactly what I was hoping they would do: cut down penalties. I was very pleased. I think they only had 4, and that's a lot better. It shows a little more discipline if they can keep that up, and I think that'll be really beneficial, especially 2 weeks from now, or less than 2 weeks from now, when Big Georgia rolls in. And speaking of which, I think they laid a big egg and up in Lexington. I tried watching as much of it as I could, but gosh, I mean, that was just a boring game. I mean, it was unbelievable. I don't even think Georgia had 300 yards. I think Kentucky had more total yards than Georgia did. Now, I know they're probably looking forward toward the Alabama game, but still, I mean, that was hard to watch. That was brutal.
Oh man, I remember the old days where Georgia was always losing a game they shouldn't, but now that it's in the Kirby era for like almost a decade, that
Yeah.
they always have that one game where they look kind of sloppy. And especially we saw it in 2022 where they looked sloppy against Kent State. And a lot of people were asking, Georgia, where are you? Yeah, Kentucky. I think this is one of those games for Georgia where it's that game where people are asking, "Hey, Georgia, where are you?"
Yeah, well, they weren't inspired. I didn't see. I now panic starts setting in late and stuff like that, and you see a little more edge to them. And but I didn't see a lot of inspire. I don't know if they were overlooking. I don't know, but that's not a good. That's not a good sign heading into It's just a little doubt heading to, into Tuscaloosa. They got to come to Tuscaloosa, and if they think it was tough playing in Lexington, wait till 104,000 slam right in their ears. So. But I'm sure Kirby Smart's a good coach. He's got a great pedigree. He's been around good coaches, so I'm sure he's going to jazz them up and talk it up this past or these coming next few days, and let them know, hey, got to bring a little more energy into the stadium with you, and just don't expect to walk in there and walk out with a W. It's going to be a tough fight, but it is that little seed of doubt headed into the Alabama game. And you saw what happened with other people. They dropped them number 2 in the polls. But who thought that was going to happen? But the game in and of itself spoke. If I were voting, I just dropped them. I don't know if I'd have dropped them to 3. I mean, that was terrible. I mean, it was no inspiration at all. No fire, no flame, no anything. Just Dullsville. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't see any part in the game where they, seemed like they were emotionally involved in it. I mean, a couple of players, yeah, but I mean, as far as the team, I didn't see a big emotional connect to the situation.
Yeah. Well, and we saw in the AP poll that Texas is number 1 for the first time since 2008.
Deserve it. They deserve it.
Oh yeah. And in the coaches poll, they're number 1 as well. But most importantly, they are number 1 in the Mark Rogers top 25 that actually makes sense right here at the Voice of College Football. That's the important poll right there.
Yeah, exactly. But they deserve it. I mean, they're playing Now they're going to lay an egg sooner or later, but right now, I mean, they're playing better than anybody in the country. And offensively, defensively, I'm not going to say offensively because I mean, you're looking at Ole Miss, but I mean, they haven't really been tested yet. But I mean, Ole Miss is just it's just doomsday for anybody that's been playing them right now. And I mean, Jackson Dart is just throwing the ball all over the field. But right now, team wise, if Ole Miss Texas were to play, I'd put money on Texas. I think Texas is deservedly number one, and they'll stay there until somebody knocks them off.
Well, and Five Adam agrees with your sentiment about Texas being beatable. He definitely agrees with that, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah. They'll lay an egg. Everybody's going to lay an egg. Nobody's going undefeated. But laying eggs against really, really, I mean, that Kentucky was just unfathomable. I mean, you just never predicted that. You thought they'd come out and take care of business and really be up for the game. But I mean, it was just it was Dolesville.
Oh yeah. Well, in Sports Talk with Austin, my good partner in crime from Wednesday nights and Saturday nights says that I think they were looking ahead to Alabama, didn't take Kentucky seriously. Oh, everybody looks ahead to Alabama. That's how it goes.
Yeah, but I mean, Kirby Smart, I mean, he knows the system. He knows how it works. And Kentucky's under Stoops has been a very, very consistent program. And just to, be so lethargic is the scary thing. I mean, yeah, looking ahead to Alabama but Alabama wasn't looking ahead to Georgia versus Wisconsin. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the troops rally, so to say. Now I know Alabama will be ready for Georgia, but and I'm Georgia will come in whatever I would imagine, but will there be a lull in the game where they just pull a Kentucky? That's not a good trade in a team early in the season, just to
Yeah, you cannot play like that against
no, not this early. Not this early. I mean, everybody's still excited. The season's just now starting, and that's a good SEC game right there. So we'll see. I'm not going to panic mode yet, but
yeah,
that would be concerning.
yeah, because I mean, you can't be panicking in September, and you most certainly can't panic in week 3. If it's like week 13 or week 7, week 8, then it's time to panic.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
Alabama, going back to Alabama, I thought the Wisconsin game, I thought they opening drive, they ran the ball and pushed it down the field, scripted. I understand that, but then after that, Alabama settled in. They had second. Is it second or third time in a row? Their opening drive, I think it was the second time. Opening drive, kind of. I don't know what they're scripting on. I don't know what Coach DeBoer is scripting over there, but hadn't been very good. But they really did improve. They were connected in the game. Like I said, cut down on penalties. And I think now penalty wise, I think they're in the top 50. I was looking at some NCAA stats, and if they can get penalty wise, I mean, if you can get down in the top 30 in the country penalty wise, I mean, you're going to have a really, really, and be as talented as Alabama, you're going to be a really, really tough opponent to play. And that's always been, Alabama historically, it seems like penalties have been, whenever we're in tough games, it's always coming down to, something to do with some stupid penalty and things like that. And then I think if they'll limit these teams with, these long time consuming, drives, but, time will tell. But I think they did make some improvements. Third down defense is still, I mean, teams are going to have to get a good chunk on first or second down, get really close to making on third down against Alabama. But right now, I know they're top 10 in the country on third down percentage. It's really hard. Once Alabama gets you third down, it's been tough getting that first down. So they need to really push that with the players, get them excited. They're a good third down team.
oh yeah, I saw where Jam Miller and Jalen Milrow were having a great time on Saturday against Wisconsin, and a stat that I saw after the game ended was that Kalen DeBoer was the first year head coach at Alabama since Frank Thomas at 1931 to lead Alabama to 30 straight to having them score 30 straight points in the first 3 games of the season in 1931.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
But
But I
yeah,
mean,
uh, we were talking earlier, mentioning players of the game. Milrow. I mean, he. I haven't given it to him, but I'm giving this one to him. Jalen, I thought he had an outstanding game, and I thought he threw the ball well. Big plays. I mean, he's just best athlete on the field. And then defensively, LT Overton. I like Tim. Tim, defensive lineman McMillan. No, anyway, the big defensive lineman. He. I mean, he's a run stuffer. And then LT Overton. I thought he brought a lot to the table. I think he had led the team in tackles, and then forced a fumble, and I think he had a sack. Yeah, he had a sack. That's right. So he had a really strong defensive or a good game defensively, and he's one from Texas A&M, right? I bet they miss him over
yeah.
there.
So that's gonna be interesting to see what goes on. And also, I was thinking about where Tyler Van Dyke got hurt in the game, and we got a report as of today from Colton Bartholomew at Badger Extra, where he
Yeah.
has reported that Tyler Van Dyke is out for the rest of the season due to that knee injury that he suffered against Alabama.
Wow. And I were talking earlier, and it just seems so innocuous. I mean, I didn't see anything just totally out of the ordinary with regard to it. Some of those times you cringe, you're like, oh my gosh, isn't it, because of the orientation of the knee and the angle of the tackle and the force and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it just seemed like he just went out of bounds. At first, I thought they were going to call another one of those penalties, for late tackle or something like that. But the way he went down on the ground, I never would have thought. But when I saw him come out from the sideline, he was in street clothes and he had the boot or the knee brace and all that kind of stuff. I started thinking to myself, it had to be something pretty serious. Just a tough break, tough. You hate that early in the season. He's probably a 5th, 6th-year guy, and that's a long. Well, it's not as long as it used to be, but that's going to be a long recovery, and it'll be interesting to see if he tries to come back next year, because it seems like probably, I don't know, maybe this year is going to be gone.
Yeah,
But I didn't think it was that tough of a tackle. But you never know. Human body's frail. I teach anatomy. I mean, it's frail. Right angle, right. It happens. Did they say if it was an MCL, ACL? Is it a ligament? Is it a meniscus, tendon, cartilage?
I think they said it was an MCL.
Okay, medial.
Yeah, he's not looking so good, but
No, I hate that for him.
yeah,
You put a lot of work into it, and then it happens just out of bounds. He was running out of bounds, and it wasn't an illegal tackle. There was no penalty, no anything. It just happened. So
yeah.
it's tough loss.